Legendary music producer Quincy Jones won 28 Grammys. That's third all time. His list of collaborators is like a who's who of music over multiple generations.
From Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, Michael Jackson, Jones' talents behind the mixing board and behind the camera were legendary. No doubt about that. Longtime morning radio DJ Tony Kurre joining us now with as we talk about him this morning. I think, well, our whole life.
Yeah.
He has been in the music industry, so.
I'm going to say this, and I stand by it. He is the most important person in music history.
I could
Not
see
the
that.
not the last 50 years. I mean, we know that he won 28 Grammys. He was nominated 80 times, but everything he touched was successful.
Yeah.
I mean, even his daughter Rashida Jones is on The Office. I mean, everything he touched. he wrote. I mean, he wrote for Sanford and Son. I mean, this guy did. He was the trumpet player in Elvis Presley's band in the 50s. I played trumpet when I was in high school. I played for 9 years. I actually followed him and followed a lot of his music. And of course, we mentioned before the area, he had an aneurysm back in the 70s. And so I copied a lot of his work. I was never anything as good as he was as a jazz player. But yeah, so I really got a chance to, and of course, my favorite song of all time, 100 Ways from James Ingram.
Yes.
She was just playing that early this morning. Yeah.
I wish I had a woman to sing that song to, Janice.
You know what? The thing is,
that's
Tony,
another story for another day.
But 1981, I was a freshman in high school, and while everyone else was listening to Crocus and you know Led Zeppelin, I was listening to James Ingram.
So, but the thing, but you touch on something there. Just the genres, the different genres. He was able to be successful in any of them.
Yeah, and then we didn't mention the We Are the World. I mean, how do you get 48?
Have you seen the behind the documentary on that?
Getting all those egos together, making
He's the only one in the world that could have done that.
Yeah.
Any other producer would have said, "Man, I'm good." You know.
Yeah.
And he never appeared to have an attitude at all with anybody during that whole production.
I'll throw another one at you. Do you remember Natasha Kinski?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
She was his partner in the 90s. I'm like, dude, she was smoking hot. I mean, she was unbelievable. The Russian woman, she was in all those great movies and stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, let's leave some for the rest of us. I mean, he's sitting there, he's super famous doing all these things, and then he's partnered with her for 3 years. I'm like,
leave it to Tony to
no, I mean, he had it all. He really did. He was just a very super successful man, and he's the most important. I'm telling you right now, if he did not exist, we'd be better off if the Beatles didn't exist than he did. I'm going to say that.
It's just like you said, every song was so perfect, classy. You just enjoyed, it's the ones that you play over and over and over again, right?
Just had the right parts to it, you know, all the elements coming together.
Well, what he did is he wasn't a great music writer. He was a great producer.
Right.
He was a great movie producer. He did, of course, the 11 Oscar
Color Purple.
Color Purple. Yeah. And that was his first movie, by the way. 11 Oscars in his first movie. But he could hear something, and as a great producer, he could hear it and change it. And the producers, like several of the Frank Sinatra songs from the late 50s, early 60s, he came in and he said, Frank, I think it sounded a little different, and we turned this from more of a chitty chitty bang bang type of sounding thing to more of a swing type of thing. And he's like, "You're crazy." He goes, "Well, let me give it a shot." Next thing you know, it turns out to be a hit. Fly Me Away.
Our producer reminding us that he wrote the part that Vincent Price does in Thriller.
And I mean, he also did Off the Wall, which is one of your favorite.
Oh, that's one of my favorite songs. Yeah, absolutely.
And he also did Bad, the album that was after Thriller. And again, he came in, and those songs, if you hear some of the songs before he actually put his production expertise on it, they sound totally different.
They do.
He was the one that came in and said, "Okay, I like this, but I think I'm going to put a little mixture on it." And the artist loved him and trusted him so much that they allowed him to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tony Kurre, I appreciate your perspective. Thank you so much. Quincy Jones, he was a great one.
Back in a moment.